in the story of Jesus Christ, as it was given in our Bibles, which many people hold dear, including myself. I have great reverence for the Christian story. I don't consider myself a Christian, and I'm a Melchizedek. And to me, that's the place before the polarity began. So I kind of stick with that. But I have great reverence for any of the true, divinely inspired religions here. In the true story of Jesus Christ, his name was Yeshua, and there were two of him. There was Yeshua 9, and there was Yeshua 12. Yeshua 9 was born with 9 strands activated in his DNA. He was what was considered actually about an older soul, but they call him avatars to the little bit. Yeshua 12 was the avatar who came to give back to us here the whole patterning of 12-string soul, the matrix. That's why in our religions and things, he became known as a savior. It was not just the teachings he led. It was the encoding that he brought back to the planet and back to our race. He was a being. This is interesting. Yeah, but I need my soul back. He was a being that, in truth, before he took on this human form, where's that little star there? Existed. He was as one of these. That was his true form. Right. And when he came here, there was a meta-terrestrial. We were meta-terrestrials. And that's what we're evolving back into. The whole story about the Yeshua is kind of funny. I'm very fond of the whole concept because I have an incarnation in that period. And it was a very special incarnation because it happens to be the one that I ascended through. And it would be many, many incarnations before that to get to that point. So like, when you finally do get to ascend, you remember it for a long time. It's like the biggest party you've ever had. And it's usually hard to get there. I was very fortunate that in that lifetime, I had Yeshua 12 as my teacher. Because he taught the original teachings of ascension. The teachings guarded by someone called the priests of earth that are in the inner earth and that are also on Tyra. The teachings that were not diluted by the Elohim because they were overprotective parents. Through that system, I was able to go. It worked for me. And I vow that someday I will come back and teach what I knew. And I didn't know it all. I only knew enough to somehow blow myself out of here, and it amazed me that it actually worked. I wanted to come back and take it slow and say, how did I do that? One step at a time. That's what my teachings are about here. That's why I came here. But I can tell you from memory and from experience a little bit about the Jeshuas. And the story that's in the Amen about the 2 Jeshuas is very, very true, even though it's not in the Bible. They got all rolled into one character in the Bible. And it's funny because when I look at pictures, with a lot of price pictures out there, and I've never ever been happy with one that I ever saw. Well, most of them were Yeshua 9. And Yeshua 12 didn't even have disciples. He didn't need them. He simply taught. And his teachers became facilitators rather than disciples. Because when he taught, he empowered them with the ability to teach. They were not followers. They became comrades. And that was a big difference here from the Jeshuas. Now, it was funny. Phil and I went on vacation not too long ago, and there was this picture in somebody's house. And I walked by it, and I almost jumped because it was the first picture that I ever saw that really looked like Yeshua 12, except he used to wear his hair in braids. But that face, compared to the other ones, you see a lot of different versions of the Jesus pictures. That one is the face of Yeshua 12. He was my half-brother in that lifetime. Yes. And I remember him well. So I thought it might be interesting for anybody who values a connection to that being who was loving enough to come here to bring the Soviet makers back to us. What did he look like? From my memory, that's what he looked like. And whoever painted that picture is very accurate. I'm trying to trace it down. I think it has something to do with the case.